Sussex Files family, gather round because the internet is about to have one of those glorious moments where reality crashes straight through the carefully constructed fantasy of certain royal commentators. And honestly, it's beautiful to watch. So here's the situation that has some people scrambling to rewrite their talking points. A retreat in Australia featuring Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, has officially sold out. Yes, sold out. Not tickets still available, not discount codes being emailed around desperately, not please come, we're begging you. Nope. The official website now reads, in clear language, ticket allocation exhausted. And somewhere out there, a group of extremely online people who spend their days insisting Meghan has no supporters, no fans, no audience, no relevance, are probably staring at their screens right now in confusion, like someone just unplugged their Wi-Fi router in the middle of a conspiracy theory livestream. Let's talk about what actually happened here, because the reality is simple, straightforward, and apparently very inconvenient for a certain crowd that's invested heavily in a particular narrative. First, let's establish what this event actually is, because details matter. The retreat is called Her Best Life. It's a women's focused wellness and empowerment retreat taking place in Sydney, Australia from April 17th to April 19th, 2026. The venue? The beautiful, upscale, intercontinental Sydney Coogee Beach, a luxury hotel situated right on the coastline. So we're not talking about some random conference room above a sandwich shop or a community center basement. This is a premium coastal location overlooking the ocean, the kind of place people intentionally choose when they want a weekend of genuine reflection, community building, and maybe a little bit of well-deserved fancy relaxation. And the headline guest? The main draw? Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. During the retreat, she's scheduled to participate in a conversation event and a gala dinner discussion about life, purpose, resilience, and personal growth. Basically, a thoughtful, substantive conversation with attendees. Not a political rally, not a royal parade with waving and protocol, just a gathering where women come together for meaningful discussions about well-being, resilience, and building lives that feel purposeful. Pretty normal stuff for this type of retreat format. But if you listen to some corners of the internet, the perpetually outraged commentators, the YouTube channels dedicated to Sussex criticism, the Twitter accounts that tweet about them dozens of times daily, you'd think this event was destined to collapse into a ghost town, an embarrassing failure. According to these critics, according to the narrative they've been pushing for years, nobody cares about Meghan. Nobody's interested in hearing from her. Nobody would buy a ticket to see her. The event would be empty. And yet, here we are. The tickets are gone. All of them sold out completely. Reality has this annoying habit of interrupting carefully constructed narratives. Now, here's where the story gets even interesting and where context becomes crucial. This was never meant to be a giant stadium event with thousands of seats. The retreat was designed intentionally to be small and exclusive in nature. The capacity is reportedly around 300 attendees maximum. 300 people. Which means the organizers weren't trying to sell 10,000 seats or fill an arena. The explicit goal was a more intimate environment where attendees could actually participate meaningfully in conversations, workshops, wellness sessions, and community building activities. That's not a bug. That's the feature. That's the entire point of a retreat versus a conference or concert. And that's a key detail that critics will inevitably try to downplay, because selling out a limited, intentionally small retreat like this is not unusual when there's strong, genuine interest in the speaker and the programming. You know, someone like Meghan. Now, let's talk about the ticket prices, because this is another aspect critics love to complain about. The retreat packages reportedly started around 2,699 Australian dollars. That's roughly 1,800 to 1,900 US dollars, depending on exchange rates. Yes, this is a premium event. This is not a free community gathering. This is a luxury wellness retreat at a beautiful coastal hotel with programming, meals, activities, and access to a globally recognized speaker. And guess what happened? People still bought the tickets. All of them. Without hesitation, which tells you something genuinely important about demand and interest. When people want an experience, when they value what's being offered, they show up for it. They put their money where their interest is. They don't spend months writing angry tweets about how nobody cares. They don't produce hour-long YouTube rants about why the event will inevitably fail. They just quietly go online, click purchase, enter their payment information, and start packing their bags for Sydney. That's how actual interest manifests, through action, not through commentary. Now, here's another part that makes the story even more meaningful and adds important context. This retreat is happening in Australia specifically. And that location matters historically because Australia holds a special, memorable place in the public story of Prince Harry and Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, as a couple. Back in October 2018, the couple's first major royal tour together included Australia as the opening stop. And if you remember those images from that tour, you probably remember the crowds. Huge crowds, massive turnout, people lining the streets enthusiastically, thousands of supporters showing up just to catch a glimpse of them. At the time, it became one of the most talked about, most successful royal tours in years. The public response was overwhelming. And now, years later, after stepping back from royal duties, after moving to California, after all the controversy and media criticism, they're returning to Australia. Not as working royals representing the monarchy, not on behalf of the institution, but as independent public figures operating on their own terms. And the interest, the enthusiasm, clearly hasn't disappeared or faded. It's still there, still strong. Now, here's the funny part. And by funny, I mean revealing about how certain narratives operate. For years now, certain commentators, YouTubers, tabloid writers have been pushing a very specific narrative aggressively and repeatedly. They insist that Meghan is unpopular, unwanted, irrelevant. They insist that nobody supports her anymore. They insist that every event connected to her will fail spectacularly. They've said it so many times, so confidently, that they seem to genuinely believe it. And yet, reality keeps rudely interrupting that story. Because when tickets go on sale for her events, people buy them. Quickly. When events are announced with her as a speaker, people register to attend. When she speaks publicly, audiences show up. Engaged audiences. It's almost like the real world and the online outrage bubble are two completely different places operating on different principles. Strange concept, I know, but demonstrably true. Let's also remember something important about what attendees are actually getting. This retreat isn't just about celebrity appearances or a photo opportunity with someone famous. The event includes comprehensive wellness activities, group discussions, workshops, and community-building experiences. Things like yoga sessions by the beach, sound healing and meditation practices, personal development talks and workshops, group meals designed for connection, wellness activities focused on mental and physical health, and yes, a gala dinner conversation featuring Meghan as the headline component. So attendees aren't just paying $2,699 for a speech or a handshake. They're paying for an entire weekend experience, a curated retreat, a comprehensive program. That's what these types of retreats are fundamentally about. Connection with like-minded people, community building, learning from speakers and facilitators, relaxation and self-care, personal growth work. Basically the exact opposite of spending your weekend doom-scrolling through royal gossip forums and leaving angry comments about people you claim not to care about. Now, imagine the reaction happening right now in certain parts of the internet. You can almost hear it. The keyboards clacking frantically, the mental gymnastics beginning. But it's only 300 people. That's tiny. That proves nothing. Yes, that's literally the point of a retreat versus a stadium concert. Retreats are intentionally intimate. They probably gave most of the tickets away for free to make it look sold out. Sure, because luxury hotels and professional event organizers just love handing out free multi-thousand-dollar packages for fun. That's definitely how business works. Most of the attendees are probably paid actors. Right, because hiring 300 actors to pretend to attend a retreat makes perfect financial sense. The mental gymnastics required to maintain the nobody cares about Meghan narrative in the face of sold-out events can get pretty impressive and creative. At some point, you have to respect the commitment to the narrative, if nothing else. Another interesting aspect of the story is the timing and what it represents. Because this retreat comes at a moment when Prince Harry and Meghan are continuing to actively build their independent public roles and careers. They've stepped away from the traditional royal system permanently. They've launched successful media projects through Netflix and other partnerships. They've supported numerous charities and causes they care about. They've spoken publicly about mental health, veterans issues through Invictus Games, and social issues. And events like this retreat show yet another dimension of their work and public engagement, community engagement on a more intimate scale, direct conversations with people, spaces where individuals can actually interact in person rather than just consuming content through headlines or social media. And apparently, clearly, demonstrably, there's still plenty of genuine interest in that type of direct engagement. Let's also talk about the broader industry context, because this doesn't exist in a vacuum. Celebrity-led retreats, wellness events, and empowerment gatherings have become incredibly popular and commercially successful over the past decade. People want experiences, not just content. They want face-to-face conversations with people they admire and respect. They want environments where they can learn, reflect, connect with others, and invest in personal growth. It's become a thriving, multi-million-dollar industry. So seeing an event like this sell out relatively quickly, not exactly shocking to anyone who understands this market. But apparently, it's still shocking, still incomprehensible to the people who spend every single day insisting Meghan has no audience, no supporters, no relevance. The cognitive dissonance must be exhausting. Another detail worth emphasizing is that this retreat is focused specifically on women's empowerment and well-being, which means the target audience is very clear and well-defined. Women who are interested in personal growth and development, women seeking career inspiration and guidance, women wanting community with other like-minded women. Add a globally recognized speaker like Meghan, who has been vocal about women's issues, empowerment, mental health, and resilience, to that environment, and you suddenly have an event that attracts significant attention very quickly, especially when seats are intentionally limited to maintain intimacy. It's not rocket science, it's basic event marketing combined with genuine public interest. And let's be completely honest about something deeply ironic. There's something almost hilarious about the people who spend literal years insisting Meghan has no audience, no supporters, no relevance, constantly proving through their own obsessive behavior that she remains one of the most talked about public figures in the entire world. Because attention works both ways. Obsession reveals interest. The same commentators who claim nobody cares about her spend hours discussing her, analyzing her, critiquing her, making content about her, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. Which raises an extremely obvious question that they never seem to ask themselves. If nobody cares, why are you still talking about her constantly? If she's irrelevant, why does she dominate your content calendar? The contradiction is glaring to everyone except them, apparently. Meanwhile, from the event organizer's perspective, this is probably just being viewed as a straightforward business success. They identified a market demand, they created a premium product to meet that demand, they secured a headline speaker with proven audience appeal, they marketed the event appropriately, they set a price point, they sold tickets, and now they're sold out well in advance of the event date. From their perspective, watching the ticket counter hit zero, the reaction is probably just, well, that worked exactly as planned. Marketing successful, event sold out, now let's deliver a great experience in April. Mission accomplished, business goal achieved. No drama, no conspiracy, just basic supply meeting demand. Now, of course, once the retreat actually happens in April, you can absolutely expect another wave of commentary and analysis. Some coverage will praise it and the conversations that emerge. Some will criticize it, finding fault with whatever they can. Some will analyze every single photo, every quote, every moment like it's a national security briefing requiring deep interpretation. But that's simply the nature of public life, especially when it involves someone as globally recognized and polarizing as Meghan has become. One thing is certain, though. One thing that's undeniable. The idea that she has no audience, no supporters, no relevance just took another significant hit from reality. Because sold-out events tend to speak considerably louder than internet comment sections full of anonymous critics. And numbers are stubborn, objective things that don't care about narratives. You can argue with opinions all day long. You can argue with headlines and hot takes. You can debate interpretations and motivations. But when tickets disappear completely, when an event sells out, the scoreboard is pretty clear and objective. Demand existed, supply was limited, supply was completely consumed. That's not spin, that's not narrative, that's just math. And honestly, watching the internet react to objective facts like this is half the entertainment value. You can practically hear the frantic typing already, the scrambling to maintain the narrative. Actually, this proves nothing about her popularity. Actually, it's still a failure because reasons. Meanwhile, the 300 retreat attendees will probably be doing yoga by the ocean, enjoying gourmet meals, participating in workshops, and having meaningful conversations during a beautiful weekend in Sydney. Which sounds like a vastly better use of time than arguing with strangers on the internet about whether someone you claim to not care about is actually popular. Just saying. At the end of the day, the story here is pretty simple and doesn't require complicated analysis. A retreat featuring Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, was announced. Tickets went on sale at a premium price point. People bought them quickly, and now the event is completely sold out. That's it. That's the entire story. No complicated conspiracy required, no deep interpretation needed, just basic supply and demand operating exactly as economic principles would predict. And apparently, plenty of demand existed and still exists. So when April arrives and the retreat takes place in Sydney, there will be hundreds of attendees gathering at a beautiful coastal hotel for conversations, workshops, wellness activities, and a gala dinner discussion. A weekend focused on growth, reflection, connection, and community. And somewhere out there, a few dedicated critics will still be insisting that nobody cares about Meghan, that she has no supporters, that this somehow proves her irrelevance. Even while the event they confidently predicted would fail is already completely full, with a waiting list. The internet is a strange, fascinating place, but reality still has a persistent habit of showing up eventually. And this time, reality showed up with a bright, clear, sold-out sign. Thanks for watching, Sussex Files family. If you're celebrating this news, smash that like button and subscribe for more reality checks. Let's keep documenting when the narrative crashes into facts. Until next time, stay based in reality and keep watching those tickets disappear. I'll see you in the next one.